Alberta's United Conservative Party is holding on to power following Monday's election. After an eventful 28-day campaign, the UCP under leader Danielle Smith won a majority of seats in the legislature. Her party dominated ridings outside of Calgary and Edmonton, while the Alberta NDP under leader Rachel Notley swept Edmonton. In her victory speech, Ms. Smith promised to work every day to listen, to improve, and to demonstrate to Albertans who didn't vote UCP that she can be trusted to improve on issues that they deeply care about. The UCP were elected in 49 seats, and 38 seats were won by the NDP. Joining us now to discuss is Ms. Lori Williams, a political scientist and professor at Mount Royal University. Ms. Williams, welcome to Forum Daily.
Oh, thanks. It's great to be with you, Nima.
Now, yesterday's election was quite the tight race. What were the key ridings that allowed Danielle Smith and the UCP to win the majority?
Well, it was actually quite close, and I've just been looking at some of the numbers. It looks like about 2,600 votes over 6 Calgary ridings had they gone the other way. It could have been an NDP victory. So we saw a number of ridings that the NDP had won in 2015, but they also made ground and broke in or came very close to breaking in on some ridings that in 2019. Wouldn't have been close. And if you'd added up the Wild Rose and PC votes in 2015, they wouldn't have won. So it looks like the NDP made more inroads here than the numbers fully reflect. Nevertheless, it just shows how challenging it is for a party like the NDP to win when, even though they got a huge majority in Edmonton and a majority of the votes and seats in Calgary, it's those rural seats that they need to pick up more of.
Challenging indeed. Now, what can Albertans expect going forward from a UCP majority government?
Well, that I think that where they're going to look at those priorities that Albertans are concerned about. Health care, I think, is number one, which is going to be challenging for the UCP. There's still a lot of animosity between healthcare workers and the UCP because of the record of this party in government with healthcare workers. We have seen the largest number of vacancies in family medicine residencies in Alberta, anywhere in the country, and many are attributing that to this animosity between the healthcare workers and the UCP. Some are threatening now to leave the province. So it's going to be a challenge. Danielle Smith lost her health minister, Jason Copping, who was generally seen as pretty strong in that portfolio. She also lost her minister of mental health and addictions. So it's going to be probably a challenge to get somebody as a new minister who can sort of try to reset that. Money alone isn't going to solve this problem, and those poor relations are going to make it more difficult. I think she's also going to look at the economy, but again, looking at the Mark Carneys of the world, they want to invest where there's a better balance between energy and the economy, and that balance that some of the big corporations are working on developing has not been championed by the government as much up until this point, and I think there's some room to grow there as well. And I think next, the relationship with or the advocacy of Alberta's interests in Ottawa is also going to be a challenge because she only has one ally amongst the premiers, and that's Scott Moe.
Definitely. Now, the NDP managed to win several more seats in the province's 87-seat legislature, as you earlier highlighted. So what can we expect from the Alberta NDP as the official opposition in the next term?
Well, they've been relatively strong in opposition, especially when they focused on proposing a better future, looking like a government in waiting. Rachel Notley has 14 more MLAs to go into the legislature, and some of them are really quite talented star candidates, I would say. So she's got a much stronger, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of quality, a much stronger caucus, a lot more bench strength. And that can be a foundation for building connections more broadly to persuade, the little over half of the voters of Alberta that didn't vote for her in this election, those who didn't vote at all, to try to reach out to some of those folks and present her and her party's vision for the future. She's more popular than her party right now, but she's got some folks that she's bringing in, or who may be not members of the caucus yet, who could be real champions and start to build some better momentum going into the next election. Because it looks like things are, even better for the NDP, even though they didn't get the seats they did in 2015. They got a larger vote share and are a stronger opposition than we've ever seen in Alberta before.
It'll be interesting to see how things unfold with the NDP and the new majority government with the UCP. Ms. Williams, thank you again for giving us your time today on Forum Daily.
Thank you very much.